Welcome to another edition of Walton Entertainment. Today we'll have more news, information, and entertainment from your local hometown. Recently at the Walton County Chamber Luncheon, Walton County Sheriff Joe Chapman spoke to the attendees about the ins and outs of the Sheriff's Office.
I won't bore y'all to death today. There's an old country sheriff down in Mitchell County named W.E. Bozeman. He's about 6'4" and about this big around, wears cowboy boots and carries a spit cup. And every time he sees me, he said, "Look, there's old Joe, one of them Rotary Club sheriffs." So here I am. A lot of you have been through the Leadership Walton program. I see a lot of familiar faces in here, and I'm not going to try to bore you with the same old thing, but I'm going to briefly cover your sheriff's office and what we do. We have around 420 employees, 186 sworn deputies. We are a full-service sheriff's office. We don't have a county police, so we answer calls for service in the county. I'm a little biased. I think we have one of the best, at least in the top 5 sheriff's offices in the state. We have high standards and we try to meet those. One of the only sheriff's offices in the state that requires physical fitness. That's a big problem for us. Believe it or not, we can't find people physically fit to be a deputy sheriff. The Joint Chiefs of Staff for the U.S. Armed Services says that physical fitness is a security risk for the United States. It's that bad. But we'll get 30 people to apply for an opening and may get 2 people out of that 30 that can pass a physical fitness test. And we've lowered the standard and lowered the standard, but we're not going to lower it anymore. We're going to keep it the way we are. A lot of people say, "Well, that big old fat deputy couldn't catch me if he had to." Well, think about this. What if you and your family are overturned in a ditch in a car and can't get out? That deputy, he or she, is going to have to be physically fit enough to get y'all out of that trapped car. That's another way to look at it. Walton County, we are a growing county. We are a great county. If you don't believe me, you move next door to us, east or west or south, and you'll see a dramatic change. And I'm not knocking anyone else, but if you look at the crime statistics and how you're serviced by your law enforcement and public safety, it is a huge, huge difference. So I'm very proud of Walton County, proud of the people that live in Walton County. We do not use body cameras at the sheriff's office. And I've been asked, why is that? I believe that we work in a community where the people still believe in their public safety. They still believe in law and order. And we just don't have the issues that a lot of other communities have. And that's not to say that someday that may change, and if it does, I hope I'm long gone. But right now, the people in Walton County believe in the services that's provided to them, and I'm grateful for y'all for that. It makes a huge difference in how we serve you. I want to tell you about the responsibilities of the sheriff. The sheriff is a constitutional officer. 4 constitutional officers in every county. And I always ask that question, but it's the sheriff, probate judge, clerk of court, and the tax commissioner. And I think the probate judge is here, isn't he?
He is.
So when y'all get those tickets, don't call me, call him. He handles all the tickets. And let me, something else unique about Walton County. Bruce Wright, our probate judge, was my chief deputy. We grew up together, went to high school, went through law enforcement together. Our magistrate judge, we went to the police academy together, worked together. Our chief superior court judge, y'all don't tell him this, but when he was coming up as an assistant district attorney, we were all young police officers. I had black hair. And so we're a unique group in our judicial system in Walton County. That's almost unheard of. Other counties I go to, the probate judge and the sheriff won't even ride in the same car together. I try to get Bruce to drive everywhere we go, but he got to be a judge and he quit all that. But we're very fortunate in that area. The sheriff, by Constitution, is responsible for the service of all civil papers and warrants in the county. The sheriff is responsible for the security of the courthouse and the keeper of the jail. Now, I want to tell you quickly about this jail. It's a pain in my back. That jail keeps me awake at night. I worry about our men and women out on the road serving us, protecting us, but that jail scares me to death. Right now today, I made the call to check right before I walked into this room. We have 376 beds in our county jail. That's not counting the work release program. In order for an inmate to be put in work release, they have to be sentenced by a judge. I have no control over that. But the jail itself is 376 beds. Today, the jail count is 471. We're averaging 450 inmates a day. And that is a huge task. We're housing out to other counties right now 65 inmates. Most people don't know that if someone gets sentenced to the county jail or gets arrested, if they're receiving any type of subsidy, VA, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, disability, all that stops. Because we don't want people laying in the county jail drawing a check, do we? I know. But they need those medical benefits, because guess who's paying them now? If you live in Walton County, raise your hand. We pay for dental care, eye care, cancer, diabetes, leukemia. We got one now that blew his face off, and for some reason and somehow he lived. I got my first bill on him 2 weeks ago from Grady Hospital, $447,000. And we're paying for that. The chairman's in here, and he hates it just as bad as I do. So now I'm trying to, I've never been real good with words, but I'm fighting with Grady Hospital, because every time we have to haul him back for surgeries. We've taken him back for his third surgery last week. First question I ask, is this essential for life? Does he have to have this to sustain life, or is this something cosmetic? Because if they ever tell me that it's cosmetic, I'm going to court. Some judge is going to have to make me take him up there. And they do it. They do it. But that jail is a huge, huge responsibility, huge task. We have some of the best jail deputies in the state. Once upon a time at the sheriff's office when I was a deputy, if you messed up, if you got into trouble or didn't do something right, your punishment was getting sent to the jail. You had to work in the jail. Well, that told the people that worked in that jail that liked it and took pride that we don't care about you. Well, we don't do that anymore. We have people now that actually don't want to come out of the jail to go on the road, which is rare in the state of Georgia. Very rare. We have the school resource officers for the county. The only schools that we don't have right now is Loganville High School and Monroe area. I see the superintendent for Social Circle over here. We joined with them 2 years ago, last year, two.
It's been at least 2 years.
As long as I'm your sheriff, we will have deputies in these schools. And I don't like to say this, and I don't want to say it in front of the chairman, but if the school pays, they help us pay for those deputies in those schools. But if the schools, for whatever reason, said we're not going to pay you anymore, I'd still put them in there. I think it's that essential, that important to us. But we do appreciate, I see Nathan back there too, we appreciate very much the cohesion we have with the school systems in the county. And Chip often says that a lot of counties don't have that. and we're very fortunate in that. The more time we spend with these kids now, the less time we're going to spend with them when they get older. And now these kids face so much more than my generation ever did. A child today that has a cell phone has every evil and vice and smut that has ever been made in the palm of their hand. And if you're like me, and I see a lot of you out there, George, I don't know how to work all that stuff. I don't know. My grandson shows me things on the phone I never had any idea was on that. But that's your sheriff's office. We're doing everything we can to keep you safe. I demand a lot from my deputies, and we have, again, the best deputies in the state of Georgia.
What is that, Jason?
What's the story of the jail, new jail?
You have to ask that man sitting back there.
Me and Joe's had 3 pretty good meetings, and I think we're getting it worked out.
It's challenging. There's no simple answers. And honestly, I've gotten frustrated with it. So we're just trying to maintain and trying to survive. And when a decision comes, we'll look at it and agree with it or disagree with it. But we're gonna do what needs to be done, because we can't keep going on the course we're on now. And you may ask yourself, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is when one of these inmates sues us for being overcrowded, some federal court judge is going to come in here and they're going to tell us how to build a jail. And they don't care how much it costs, or how many beds it is. They're going to say this is it, and that's what's going to happen. And that's going to be expensive. We went down and looked at the Coffee County Jail, which is way down South Georgia. I took, I think, 3 commissioners with me down there to look at it. They're under a Department of Justice mandate in Coffee County. I don't know what the county population right off the top of my head of Coffee County is, but it's like, I'm just guessing around 10 or 15,000 people. They have a jail down there with like 800 beds in it. Only a third of that jail is in operation. It's so big. But a federal court judge told them that's what they were going to build. And that's what they have. So I know I didn't answer your question, but that's all I know. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to take it. Terry said we had time. The reason we're in the situation we're in with our jail, with the population, and I told the chairman this, how long ago, Kevin? 4 or 5 years ago? The governor's big push in the state was judicial reform. Matter of fact, he's leaving office and he's bragging that since he's been governor, there has been less people put in state prison than in any governor's history. Well, do you know why that is? He's putting them all in the county jail. And we're paying for that. Judicial reform, and I don't want to make anybody upset, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Judicial reform had nothing to do with reforming the judicial system. It was all about saving the state money and putting it back on the local taxpayer. If anybody wants to argue that with me, when we leave here, we'll go down to jail and talk about it. I'll show you. Used to, help me, Bruce, $500 was a felony. Used to. A few years ago, $500, if you stole anything that was valued over $500, that was a felony. And when you commit a felony, you go to state prison. A misdemeanor, you go to county jail. Well, the governor raised that threshold from $500 to $1,500. So that many people under that threshold go to county jail. He hired, I don't know how many more probation officers, because they put more people on probation now. And when you violate your probation, we call them technical violators. They haven't committed a new crime. They didn't pay their fine. They didn't report. They didn't call in. They got a dirty drug screen. Where do those people go? County jail. They don't go to state prison. They go to county jail. And I told Kevin some years back when they started this that the Sheriff's Association estimated it was going to catch up with us in about 3 to 4 years, that the county jail population was going to increase by a minimum of 30%. I think we're exceeding that now. And a lot of these people get caught into this system and they can't get out. It isn't that they're bad people. They done something stupid, made a bad mistake, and they get caught in that system and they just can't get out. So it's back in the county jail, back out. And don't get me started on mental health. This lady sitting right here can tell you all about this. You know, a long time ago, a lot of you my age, your mom and daddy tell you, said, boy, you keep acting like that, I'm going to send you down to Milledgeville. Because that's where they house people with mental problems. Well, somewhere along the way, the state of Georgia said, you know what, this is inhumane. We can't treat people like this. We're going to close down all these facilities. Well, you know where we put them now? County jail. County jail. We're the largest. We counted our numbers one time. 62 to 63% of our inmate population is receiving either mental health counseling, medication, or both. And we have I hope I'm not offending anybody, Advantage Behavioral right across the street, and those people will not come across the street to see these inmates that they see when they're out. So all of us, believe it or not, we have not treatment, but we have mental health counselors in the Walton County Jail. We're fortunate because we contract with a medical company every year. And the chairman can't tell you, but I can tell you we pay $1.2 million for that service every year. And they treat mentally ill patients in the county jail, along with other medical issues. But that's just the world according to Joe, so don't. But if you want to see it, you're welcome to come down at any time, and I'll be happy to show you. We're doing jail and that stuff in that jail that the state has just pushed down on us. We call them unfunded mandates. We get a lot of those, don't we, Kevin? Any other questions about new laws? Hands-free, you get that hands-free ticket, go see the probate judge.
I don't think there's a day goes by that I still don't see people on their cell phones. I mean, I was going to work this morning, gals, on her phone, and are the officers stopping people?
Yes, we are, and my deputies, I don't mandate tickets. I leave it up to each individual deputy. So a lot of times your mouth is what's going to dictate if you get a ticket or not. And I'm not trying to air my business. We got the paper in here, but when people do call me with an encounter about a deputy, first thing I do is ask that deputy, hey, what happened? And they'll say, Sheriff, that person was an a-hole. I said, well, I'll let them know you said that. So, but I leave it up to discretion, and it's a habit. Now I'm gonna, the law says that law enforcement is exempt from that law. That law enforcement can talk on their cell phone while they're driving. What did I put out as our policy? If it's the law for the people that we serve, it's the law for us too. I did that with window tint. Channel 46 beat me to death one time about window tint. Why are you stopping all these people for window tint? I said, because it's against the law. Simple as that. But I will not allow a deputy sheriff to write someone a ticket for window tint when the tint in their car is darker than the person they're writing a ticket to? What kind of sense does that make? So I don't allow it. Believe it or not, we're exempt from seatbelt law too. We were, or we're still. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But just the other day, my phone rang and I picked it up and answered it driving down the road. And just in a split second, it frightened me so bad, Pat, I just threw it down in the seat. I hope nobody saw me. But it's just a bad habit. And it's going to take a while to, and new cars have the thing on the dash, the hands-free. But I don't know if y'all know, I have hearing loss thanks to the Marine Corps, but I can't hear anything. And this lady talking on the hands-free thing, I get so mad with her. I'm yelling at her. She said, "Who would you like me to call?" I said, "I just told you." Anyway, still trying to learn through it. It's difficult. New laws coming, and we have to. Some are good, some are bad. I'm one of those that thinks if we make a new law, we ought to get rid of 2 old ones. But that's those people somewhere else making those rules. And one thing I want to tell you before I quit, and you brought up earlier, we had a bad incident where a deputy got into a fight with an offender. It was a big shootout, and she came up and told me about all this police presence around her house, around the reservoir. We are so fortunate in Walton County. We have a state patrol post in the county. The state headquarters for DNR is in Social Circle. When we have a major problem, the cavalry comes. I mean, helicopters, and that's a resource in the military. We call it a force multiplier, but that's a resource, an additional resource that we don't have to pay for. I mean, we pay for it, of course, on the state level, but we don't have to pay for it again. And we're very, very fortunate. Not that it would happen to anyone in here, but on a domestic call, if you have a domestic or call in that your lawnmower got stolen, a DNR ranger or a state trooper is just liable to show up to answer your call till a deputy gets there. And we're very, very fortunate to have that. I had a person come up to me, said they had a family dispute about property. Somebody died, and said one of your people came out and mediated the whole thing for us. It was great. Well, I go back to the office and I ask, and nobody knows anything about it. So now I'm mad. Got a deputy went out on a call, didn't do a report, didn't call out, which is a big no-no. Well, I just happened to be hanging out with some state troopers, and a trooper tells me about he was pumping gas at Good Hope store, and this lady come up and said they were arguing about property, and he went out and mediated the whole thing. So, well, thanks, but we're very fortunate in Walton County to have that. Very fortunate. But now when that trooper writes you that ticket, don't call me. Call the probate judge. Any other question? Thank you for having us. Hope we didn't bore you today.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
You're watching Walton Entertainment.
I'm a huge Bill Withers fan, and this is just one of the songs I really adore and really get into and love to sing. Use Me by Bill Withers. Feel it still upon it today. I say I'm gonna spread the news that if it feels this good getting you, oh, you just keep on using me to use me up. To use me up. My brother, oh yeah, sit me right down and talk to me. He told me, yeah, I'm not letting you just walk me. And I'm sure he meant well, yeah, but when our talk was through, I said, brother, if you only knew you wish you were in my shoes, oh, you just keep on using me to use me up. To use me up. Well, sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. You get me in a crowd, high class people, and then you act real rude to me. But oh, baby, when you love me, I can't get enough. Yeah, now I'm gonna spread the news that if it feels this good and you just keep on using me till you use me up. Till you use me up. Yeah, I'm talking how you using me, but it all depends on what you do. It ain't too bad the way you using me, 'cause I sure am using you. Do the thing you do. Do the thing you do. Oh, do the thing you do. Do the thing you do.
Good day, this is Michael Davis coming to you here from the 4-H office here in Walton County. Want to say a few things. First of all, we finished our year out with a great camping season with Cloverleaf Camp down on Tybee Island there with Camp Burton. We had a great time down there, and I know our 4-H kids did because some of them I see around are still talking about it. Also, our BB team, our national BB team, recently competed in Rogers, Arkansas, and came home with a 4th place finish. Only 8 points out of 1st place. We want to give a shout out to them and the great job that Mr. William Carlin and Miss Kathy Sasser does working with our BB program. And we hope to see more kids out this year with our BB program, so that'll be coming up in November when we kick off our season. Our new 4-H year will be starting very soon in September, but we have some early things that are kicking off. For example, our wildlife judging team and our cotton bowl and consumer judging teams, they'll be starting up here towards the end of August. So if you're interested in being part of those teams, give us a call here at the office, 770-267-1324. And you can speak with Miss Cassandra Hainsworth, or you can ask for me, Mr. Michael Davis. Also, we want to be mindful, we still do water samples and soil samples here in our office. Come by and see us anytime for those. And for anything else that you might need along the lines of a little help in the gardens or with your lawns, come by and see Joel, our ag agent. He is in the office most days. But again, 4-H, our new year starts in September. We'll be out to our elementary schools starting in September, and we're looking forward to another great year here in Walton County 4-H in this coming year. Hope to see you out and about. And of course, don't forget the farmers market Saturday mornings here on the square. We'll be around there too. Thank y'all so much, and have a good day.
Hey, I'm Isaac over at Reboot Computer Company. We're going to give you the Reboot Tech Tip today. We're going to talk about routers. This day we got like a lot of streaming going on, a lot of video, a lot of game playing. Some people don't even have cable anymore. They do like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu is another one, stuff like that. So these days you got to have a decent router, right? If you're doing streaming or you're doing any kind of game stuff or anything like that, especially for businesses that are doing like web-based applications. So you got to have what's called an AC router. This is actually an AC 1350 router. So anytime you're buying a router, you always want to look for the AC, whatever it is, and these being the model number, it's AC something, you know. Typically you want to stay above 1200, so AC 1200 and above is real good. And again, it depends a little bit on what you're doing. If you do heavy streaming, you know, you might want to do like an AC 1750 or above. But anyway, so just for like basic internet use, make sure you get something that's it's an AC router. The AC actually, I don't remember what it stands for, but it's a different kind of wireless. The other thing you want to think about, if you're a business, the little ports here, you want to get what's called gigabit ports. It's just faster. You know, it handles more what's called bandwidth. So if you're doing, again, like streaming or gaming or whatever, and you're actually plugged into the router, it's going to be quicker. You won't have all that choppy stuff. The other thing too, so I got another one here. Depending on the size of your house, you know, if you got like 2,500 square foot house, a regular wireless router is probably going to be okay. But anything bigger than that, you're going to need either what's called a high-powered wireless router, or you may have to do an extra extender or an access point or something like that. But anyway, this particular router, it actually has different antennas on it. It's actually high-powered antennas, so it'll go further. You know, the other thing to think about too when you buy a router is how's your house built. You know, if your walls are sheetrock and just wood and sheetrock, then most routers can go through them pretty easy. But if you've got like a brick wall in the middle of your house, or anything concrete or metal, you know, walls in your house, it's going to be a little harder for the router to go through. And so you may have to have an extender. We've actually got a customer, newer house, but some of his walls are rock, so he's actually got to have 2 routers in his house, and his house is really not that big, but Wi-Fi stuff, it doesn't really go through concrete or rock real well, so keep that in mind. The other thing I just wanted to mention briefly, TP-Link is a good brand, ASUS is a good brand. That's typically all we really sell. We try to stay away from the cheap routers altogether. You know, Linksys, cheap ones, Netgear, cheap ones. You know, any of the real cheap ones. You know, just stay away from. You're probably going to spend about $70-80 for anything decent. You know, keep that in mind. You know, Best Buy has some decent ones. Office Depot, of course, we sell them here at Reboot too. But anyway, so TP-Link is good. ASUS is great. Keep that in mind. And again, if you got any questions, you know, contact your local IT guy. They can help you out and give you some pointers. But that's it for today. Isaac with Reboot, giving you the Reboot Tech Tip. Thanks.
The band is widely considered a musical marvel and have laid the groundwork for what has become known as beach music in the Carolinas, Virginias, the Gulf Coast region of North America, and every beach in between.
I love beach music.
I'm talking about the Embers, a true musical tradition with which many Americans have grown. The Embers consider the gender of beach music as the music with a memory. and have been creating such lasting memories since the inception of the band in 1958. Recently in Loganville, Georgia, I caught up with the Embers.
We actually started playing before they called it beach music. We started in high school in 1958. That's 58 years ago. And we started out playing what we call black music, rhythm and blues. And somewhere in the 60s, like 68, I started hearing the term beach music. In the 70s, we did floor shows, and we traveled all over the United States. We'd go out and stay a month at a time. Went from Canada into Kentucky. We played Atlanta at Uncle Sam's and Banks and Shane. I don't know if you remember those places, but we played all of them back in the day. We've done 20 albums, or most of them were albums, and we saw albums, 8-tracks, cassettes, and CDs, and the MP3s. We've seen them all. As a matter of fact, we're working on a brand new album. We haven't named it yet, but we're going back to our roots and doing a lot of remakes of old songs that were million sellers at one time. We've been coming to Loganville for about 3 or 4 years now. As a matter of fact, last night we were in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll spend the night here and go to North Wilkesboro tomorrow, and go back through Raleigh and go to Myrtle Beach Sunday, and we get a couple of days off. But we do over 250 dates a year. By starting in 58, 58, you know how old I am, and my doctor told me about a week ago, keep doing what I'm doing. It don't stop, so I don't plan to stop. Well, when we started playing, we didn't have as many markets. It's changed so much now. You got rap, which I don't care that much about. So much TV that people don't go out like they used to, because you can sit at home and watch 1,000 channels. You can watch anything you want to. You get a cheap date. But that's one of the things. We've never changed. We do the same music we've been doing forever, and we've got a market, and I think we'll keep it. And you see here now, people sitting out there with umbrellas. We're going to play rain or shine. As long as it doesn't rain sideways.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful from the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Staying busy here at the center. One thing I did want to mention, we're still seeing a lot of the TVs coming in. And I just wanted to remind everyone again, I know it hasn't been long that we were accepting them, and we really do hate that we're having to shut it down so quickly. But the company we work with just no longer accepts them. So I just wanted to remind everyone again that if you have TVs that you need to get rid of any kind, we do accept them here, just not as recycling. You will need to come across the scale and get a weight on the TVs that you're disposing of, and there is a charge to get rid of those TVs. So just wanted to make that clear. We're still having an issue with some of those finding their way into the recycling bins, and they're no longer recyclable. The other thing is we're getting hot and heavy on our Rivers Alive stuff. It's always about this time of year when we really start doing a lot of our logistics and planning. So just wanted to remind everyone again, it's a wonderful opportunity to volunteer in the county for a great event. If you're interested at all in volunteering, please give us a call, 770-267-1421, and we'd be happy to talk to you about it, even help you find some areas that are in need of cleaning. And it's an event that we report to the state every year, and it really does shine a bright light on our county and show what a spirit of volunteering we have here in Walton County. So that's kind of what's going on here. Like I always do, if you've never been out to our center, come out, let us walk you around, let us help you get started recycling. There's a lot of things we recycle here that's not commonly recycled with private haulers and things like that. So come out and see what other things that you can't recycle with those people that you could easily get here, and let us show you and help you get started doing that. Until next time, take care.
Hi, Walton County. This is Jody Johnson. I'm here with the Recreation Report. Glad to say that our fall sports are underway. Now that school has started back, a lot of our teams, our fall sports, which is our football and cheerleading, soccer, and fall baseball and softball, has all started practicing. The games will start around August 20th. We'll kick off. Our football always starts with a jamboree where we play kind of half games against each other, against the county-wide. They come together on a Saturday and play a lot of football games. So that's always a big time for all the football and cheerleading teams. It's kind of a trial run before the season gets started. So we've got lots of football teams that are preparing, as are the high schools. And as we all know, the college sports is about 30 days away, as well as the Falcons, as well as about 31, 32 days away. And we will be in full swing down here in the South in football season. But for the Recreation Department, it is our busiest time of the year. Most people believe that the springtime is our busiest, but actually in the fall we have almost all of our sports other than basketball all going on at one time. So we have a lot of kids that are doing all kinds of different things. Again, with the baseball and softball going on, it's just as big as it is in the spring just about nowadays. But we do put a lot of emphasis on our football and our cheerleading season, since that's the one time a year that we do have it. This year we started a new program, which is flag football, and we ended up with about 8 teams in ages 7 through 10. So it was a good registration for the first year. So fall we'll have in the fall we're going to have our first program, which is the flag football. We're having that up in the Loganville area where the kids registered. So we look forward to giving that a try as well. Once we start one season, as always, we're looking forward to the next one. We'll be registering for our basketball, and now it's called our winter basketball, because we do have summer basketball, which we just completed this year. So our winter basketball registration is September 10th through the 15th. Please don't miss those dates, September 10th through the 15th, because we usually end up with around 1,100 kids that play in our winter basketball program. It's huge. And we've made it much easier for you to register. Now, if you go to our brand new website, it's through our Civic Rec and Civic Plus hosts that are doing our new website at waltoncountyga.gov. It's got a lot of the same information. It's just a little bit easier to use. You go to departments and then you go to recreation, and you'll be able to see the new recreation website. From there, you'll need to create, if you want to go to a program, it'll teach you how to create your own profile. Once you do that, it's going to be really easy. For those that registered in one of our programs in the past, you've already got a profile. It'll be really quick for you to register online. You can pay with a debit or credit card, and you can do it from the convenience of your home. So it makes it much easier and convenient for you to do that. You can still come into our office. We don't mind at all seeing you guys. Come into the office and register with the pen and paper. We'll actually do it online for you. So look forward to that, September 10th through the 15th. It's a little over a month away. So make sure you hit that basketball program up, because that is important. We also want you to know that you can do any program or register for a pavilion, rent a pavilion for our birthday party, and see what the calendar looks like. You can do that now on our website as well. Again, you can also go into Felcor Meridian Park, see one of our attendants there, and they can go over the calendar with you, and you can pay them. But you also can do that from the convenience of your home computer or telephone if you have a smartphone. So we want you to continue to use our website. It's the best place to get all the information that you need for the Recreation Department. A lot of programs and whatnot out there for you. We're trying to provide as clean and safe facilities as we can. We have a lot of great walking tracks that are outdoors, and we also have the indoor climate controls facilities at Felcor and Meridian Park. And remember, it is time after July 1st to re-register your family for the membership. So if you haven't done that, go on, create your profile, or go to one of the community centers for the following year from July through, from August 1st through July 1st. So go in and register for that. It's a very cheap way to stay healthy, which we want all Walton County folks to stay to stay fit And I did talk to, I did mention to Miss Jackie who, at the senior aerobics, I was walking around talking to those folks, and one thing that she reminded me of from a senior standpoint, that you can either move it or lose it, is what she says. You know, if you don't get up and stay active, you know, you won't be able to stay active throughout the golden years. One program that we have started, and I'm not sure if it's on our website yet. If it's not, it'll be there in just a couple weeks. Is that our senior aerobics classes that are so popular? And we have over 100 seniors come 4 days a week, or actually 5 days a week now, to our senior aerobics program, and they want to dance to the oldies music, use their chairs, get moving and stay active. Well, a lot of people say, you know, I just don't know whether I want to go or not. I'm not sure I'm fit enough to even do that. Well, we've taken that to another step. We've actually filmed, and we are going to film up to 4 episodes of our senior aerobics class, and those things will be on our website. So if you would like, you can go to your computer, turn it on to our senior aerobics. You'll see that page on our website at waltoncountyga.gov, and you can watch about 45 minutes of our class, or you can actually do it in the comfort of your own home now. We want to make sure that everyone stays fit, whether you come see us or not. We want you to stay active in Walton County. If you have any questions about that, maybe not know how to find it on the website, give us a call here at the Recreation Department at 770-266-1680, and I'll be glad to help you, and we want you to stay fit. I think we do want to invite everyone out to the senior aerobics classes if you're able to get out there and tell any of your friends and come as a group. It's one of the best activities we have. Valerie Metz does a great job with that, and she's even expanded that program to a few other classes outside of that she does, whether it's just several classes that people may not be able to do, the chair aerobics or some stability issues. So she's really expanded upon that as well. So if you have any questions or concern, or you want to maybe start your own program and need a little help, give us a call, and we'll be glad to help you with that. I always want to remember throughout our sports programs and our youth programs that sportsmanship does start at home, and that's very vital and kind of our motto here with all of our youth sports. So until next time, thank you very much.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.
They called me back a few days later to come in for additional views. I went the next week for that, and then I had to come back for a biopsy. And the very next day I got the news that I had cancer, which is not something anybody wants to hear.
Welcome to Focus. This segment is an opportunity for us to focus on what matters with people, places, and things. I'm your photographer, Darrell.
When I got the phone call that actually told me the dreaded word cancer, it just stunned me because it happened so fast. I mean, in a 2.5 week period, I went from thinking everything was okay to not knowing what the rest of my life was going to be, or if I was even going to have a rest of my life. And I remember I tried to call my husband, and he at that particular time was with a customer and couldn't talk to me, and he just said, "I'll have to call you back." And so I called my sister, but when she answered the phone, I couldn't say anything. It was like to say it made it real, and I couldn't do that. And she knew what I had went, and she knew I'd had the biopsy and everything, and she told me, she said, "No, Trina, no." And I said, "Yes." That was all I could say, was just yes. And she said, "No, I could give in and I could ball up in the corner and just cry and feel sorry for myself, but that's not going to help me, and it's not going to help any of my family or friends or whatever to be around me like that, and it's not going to change anything. But if I get out and I try to make the most of every minute and every day that I've got, that God gives me, and to be there for somebody else that may need support, then, you know, I still have a purpose. I still have a purpose for being here. And, you know, I have to stay strong and show it that it can't conquer me.
Hello, my name is Patricia Adsett, and I'm a Master Gardener volunteer here in the Walton County Extension Office. You know, you just might be a gardener if you fit a description that's been used to describe gardeners. You have a curious mind, a generous heart, you love to share information with people, and you probably have an overabundance of zucchini in the summertime. But what makes us master gardeners? Let me share a little bit about who we are and what we do. Master Gardener volunteers have been around for 45 years. It was started by an extension agent in Washington State. He selected, trained, and certified a small group of enthusiastic home gardeners to be horticulture educators on a volunteer basis to help him answer the ever-growing number of questions from home gardeners. Now, Master Gardeners have grown in size. We're in 43 states, and we've grown in scope. We're international in that we have Master Gardeners in Canada and in Korea. But we are still local by nature because we are supervised by our local Extension Office agent. Master Gardeners have to go through 1 year certification process, during which time we attend 40 hours of intensive formal classroom training that is university developed and university educator led. Following that, we intern, giving back 50 hours of educational and volunteer service to our county. We do projects such as the following. Let me share these with you. We have started this year a help desk here in the Extension Office, and it is staffed on Tuesday afternoons and Thursday mornings. You can call us with your gardening questions, or you could even email us a picture of that black spot on your tomato and let us help you discover what the cause of that is. In addition, you may have seen us at the Monroe Farmers Market. We have a booth there every Saturday morning called Ask a Master Gardener. Stop by and talk to us. We'd love to chat with you. Of course, we like to get close to the soil, so this year one of our primary projects has been a giving garden, which we have established, maintained, and are harvesting from at the historic William Harris Homestead property. All of the produce that we harvest goes to Walton Wellness, and it is then shared with Walton County residents who may not have access to fresh fruits and vegetables on a regular basis. Does any of this pique your interest? Do you think you might like to be a Master Gardener volunteer? Well, we have an upcoming orientation session that might help you make that decision. Please join us on September the 26th at 6 o'clock here in the Extension office for an orientation session about next year's class for Master Gardeners. During that orientation session, you'll have a chance to talk to our agent, Joel Burnshead, and you'll also have a chance to chat with veteran Master Gardener volunteers as well as interns in this year's class. The application for next year's class, which starts in January of 2019, will be available at that time. Remember, if you have questions, please give us a call at our Master Gardener Help Desk, and that number is 770-267-1925. We'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
Today, I'm a little over 600 cars that I rent to the movies. I broker. And again, it's just my love for cars turned into a business, you know? I mean, in 1976, they did Smokey and the Bandit movie. You know, I walked out there. I lived like 2 doors up, 3 doors up from the ballpark there. Walked out there, was a tractor-trailer truckload full of Trans Ams. Thought it was the coolest thing. And, you know, we watched a little bit of it, but unfortunately I went 12 years to school without missing a day. So I didn't get to skip school to watch Smokey and the Bandit. But, you know, I did see a lot of the pictures. It was really cool and got to hang out with them a little bit. Again, I was only 16 years old then. You know, I don't like to sell stuff, but I like to trade stuff. And this bug came up on a really sweet little trade deal that I did. And it's a 1970 bug. You know, it's kind of cute. We did the movie Vacation, and they wanted to make a hippie Volkswagen. And we also used Conyers Animal Hospital's red Volkswagen van for a hippie van. But they wanted a hippie bug, so I told them they could do anything they wanted to with it, and they did. And it's all tasteful. There's nothing nasty or dramatic, but you can wash it off, but I don't know if I really want to. Well, you know, various times I get phone calls for cars. They typically call them rent-to-wrecks. I had a 1993 Chevrolet truck that I tried to sell, ended up selling it to production, and they wrecked it.
We are rolling out for impact in 3, 2, 1, action.
There they go. We did a movie called Watsons Go to Birmingham about the church bombing in Birmingham in 1964. They were non-running cars, but they put them outside the church and basically set decorations, set deck as they call it, pretty much beat up the car. And I've got photos of the before and after, the original photo and what we did for the production did to make it look like it. And basically it was part of an explosion bomb when the church got bombed in Birmingham. I started driving in '76, but back in the '70s we'd go to Snow Mountain Park and cruise around the park. And I remember being there like in 1974. I saw a Corvette club come through the park, and just a bunch of this style Corvettes, because it was 1974, and older Corvettes. Back window comes out on this car, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I said, I'm going to get one before I turn 20. So basically I got a car identical to this without the L21 race option. January 25th, 1979. I've made my goal by 1 year and 4 days. And I've had this car since 1988, but you know, my goal is to get that Corvette, and I got it. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people said my mom and daddy paid for the car, but I paid for that car.
And that wraps up another edition of Walton Entertainment, your one source for local news, information, and entertainment. Keep it right here on this channel for all the local happenings. We'll see you next time.